Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Teach Me Tech. My name is Kvist and this guy alongside me is Ben Jones from Growth Studios, who's joining us for a couple of episodes whilst we do a bit of talking about Instagram. Welcome along, Ben.
Thanks, Pete. Good to be here today.
Now remember, Teach Me Tech, the show where we take a look at new or complex ideas and tools online. We break them down and give you a step-by-step approach so that you can implement some of these strategies into your business. So today's episode is how to get started with Instagram for business. And I think it's a funny point to note that I say, new or complex ideas, and people go, well, Instagram isn't new or complex, but for most business owners, it's actually more complex than they give it credit for.
Yeah, look, been around for about 3 years. It's really starting to gather some momentum, but a lot of people just don't understand it, Pete.
Okay, so two quick things, ladies and gentlemen. If you watch the show, you'll understand what these are. Number one is we want you to follow along, grabbing your favorite green t-shirt, glasses, and Mac computer, because these sessions are highly practical. So you can actually implement as we go, and we've got some cool things to implement in these episodes. Number two is if you've got any questions, just get involved in the conversation. Ask and share on your favorite social platform. Maybe that could be Instagram. Use the hashtag TeachMeTech and you can share with other members of the Teach Me Tech community. Ben and I will also check in on those hashtags every now and then as well and get involved in the conversation. So let's take a look at what we're going to cover today. Firstly, what is Instagram and why you should consider it for your business? What are micro moments or moments that matter and why they are important? Instagram versus Facebook versus Twitter. Which should you be using and why? Geez, Google Plus isn't on there. I'm not sure why that is. A quick tour of an Instagram account. Who is using Instagram and how fast is it growing? I can answer that very fast. A look at a real-life case study showing how Instagram is affecting daily life. Actual examples of inspiring Instagram accounts. What are some of the most popular Instagram accounts and why? Which accounts should you be following on Instagram? And finally, how can Instagram use affect the way you do business? Whew, I got through it. Ben Jones. Oh, that's my line.
Sorry, mate.
Let's get started. Gee whiz, he's taking over already. Oh, so, Ben, first of all, let's kick it off. What is Instagram and why should people out there watching consider using it for their business?
Yeah, Pete, Instagram is a mobile-only app. It's a social media app, and a lot of people are using it, all different ages, it's one of the fastest-growing social media platforms out there.
So I think it's interesting to note that Instagram is mobile or mobile, depending on where you're watching from. Cell-only application. You cannot run this from the desktop on your computer. Well, You can, but you kind of have to be a bit sneaky how you do it, right?
That's right. It's done on the mobile phone or your cell phone, and it's all about capturing moments of life, of business, but everyday moments and sharing them with the world.
And it's all about photos as well, right?
Yeah, it's driven primarily by images, photos, images, even video, Pete.
And so how do we differentiate Instagram from Facebook and Twitter? What are the key differences between them?
They're actually quite different. You may or may not know that Facebook does own Instagram. It's part of their platform. But there's a big difference between what's happening on Instagram and what's happening on Facebook and what's happening on Twitter. And I think we're going to dive into that.
Yeah, I just looked down at my slides. I probably should save that question for later, shouldn't I? So we've got Instagram is a different platform because it's mobile only. It's very picture based. So why should people consider using it for their business?
Yes, it really helps people engage with new audiences. A lot of people think that Instagram is for a much younger audience, but if we think about it in business, the users that are on Instagram today are going to be your customers tomorrow. So it's really important to get in front of people, as they start to be engaged with your business, as they start to get older, use different platforms, different social media platforms, and engage with them in a medium that you've never done so.
Yeah, I guess the other important thing is, we don't really cover this off today, but if you have not yet downloaded the Instagram app for your phone, if you're on iPhone, head to the Apple App Store. If you're on Android, head to the Google Play Store. And if you're on one of those other devices, well, best of luck to you to figure that one out. But Instagram will have applications on no matter what mobile phone platform you are using. So get in there. It's just a case the same way you download any application. Click that install button, open the application, and that is all you really need to do to get started, isn't it?
That's right. Just install the app. If you do get stuck finding the app, you can just go to Instagram.com.
That sounds nice and easy. So any other reasons why people should consider using this for their business, and maybe why people might not want to use it for their business?
A lot of people, I understand, don't or shy away from using it for their business because they don't actually understand how they can leverage it, Pete. But we're going to dive into looking at different ways of using it in the business, different ways of thinking about social media and specifically Instagram for your business. So why don't we get started?
Perfect. So let's move on. First of all, we've got a little statistic here. So Instagram is saying 75% of our community is living outside the US. So it's a big hello to all our viewers over in the United States.
That's
but
right.
75% of Instagram users are outside the US. What can we garnish from this statistic?
Do you know how many Instagram users there are, Pete?
I shudder to think. Do you know the latest stat on this?
The very latest stat I have not seen. About a month ago, 2 months ago, Instagram kicked over 400 million users.
So we're getting close to, so by the end of 2015, for those of you that aren't watching this when it first goes to air, so by the end of 2015, we're looking at getting close to 500 million users on Instagram. That's a lot of people's customers that are on Instagram. And if you're not connecting with them, well, then who are they connecting with? They're probably connecting with your competition, aren't they?
They would be, absolutely. And it's like Pete said, 75% of the Instagram user community is actually outside the US. So if you're in another country, your clients, your users, your followers are there too.
And again, another great example of a social platform which really connects people from around the world, but also for those people that are watching that have a very local business, it's a very powerful tool for them too, isn't it?
Extremely powerful for local businesses.
Yeah, let's go into some detail about that as we chit-chat today also. So let's move on. This is one that I'm interested in. What are micro moments or moments that matter, and why are they important?
Depending on what you type into Google, you can have a look at for yourself. But micro moments, or what Facebook call moments that matter, is really that intersect between a moment in time and how a brand can actually engage with that moment in time. So if we can sort of explore that a little bit more, thinking about people in the moment and how your brand can really touch people in that moment when they're needing a particular thing. Imagine a plumber. You might have a leaky tap, and in the moment that matters that you've got that leaky tap, a plumber could potentially get in front of their audience by being on Instagram, a moment that matters.
And it's also interesting that Instagram is not just all about taking selfies and putting duck lips while you're in the restroom at the local McDonald's.
Not very good at that, Pete.
No, that's why I unfollowed your account. But anyway, we won't go into that too much. So these micro moments or moments that matter is basically, this is real-time communication directly with your customer, isn't it?
That's right. At the moment, it's a little bit technical here, but the feed in Instagram, that's the images in the actual in your news feed that come up. They actually come up in real time. It's a little different to the way Facebook works, where there's algorithms behind the scenes that show you what they think you need to see. So Instagram, you can really choose and pick what you want to see, and it's going to come up in real time.
And if someone follows your account, and let's say they also follow Kim Kardashian, for example, who's one of the most followed people on Instagram, if they follow you and her, then you have just as much chance of turning up in someone's newsfeed as Kim Kardashian, because it's all in real time. So whenever you're posting, it's going to appear in someone who follows you, their newsfeed, isn't it?
That's right. And the key there is that, in fact, if you post often enough, you could potentially show up more than your local celebrity.
And also, if you're posting relevant stuff as well, that's
right.
when you start building a relationship. It's
That's
not
right.
just about getting in front of them with the duck face selfies. It's about posting relevant content, and really it's about building trust, building that relationship with your ideal customer, isn't it? Because Instagram isn't just about trying to sell things. It's about people being able to almost, in some cases, see behind the scenes with what you do, being real with them.
That's right.
So that they're more inclined to purchase from you when they are ready to make a buying decision.
Being authentic, it comes back to that moment that matters. Being real, being authentic, and just being who you are in the moment.
Social media really has revolutionized a lot of things, but we think about even when you were a teenager before the telephone was invented, sorry, that was a joke, but you didn't even flinch, so that's good. So we find that for information to circulate around the globe, back in the day, we looked at things like telephones that moved into, basic television, which would take people to film it, and then they'd have to get the vision across. And, the speed of which we were able to communicate with people around the world and news around the world has gone from, what might be a 6-month or 12-month lead time to what might be a 2 or 3 week lead time.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, every single person who has an Instagram account has exactly the same opportunity to be that eyewitness person in those micro moments or moments that matter just as much as the largest media companies in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, if we just pull that out a bit more, people are actually getting paid for their reporting of moments. It's happened, in news, journalism, especially. Definitely something that is happening widespread. A lot of people, Pete, are using Instagram just to jump in at that moment.
Yeah, perfect. And also, we did touch on before the difference between Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, but which one should we be using as a business and why? What's your take on this?
So my take, Pete, is that, as a business, you really should be using every available channel to you to touch your audience. If most of your audience are on Instagram, pick Instagram first and really just put in some time and effort into that channel and making sure that it's the one that you're actually putting your effort into. Master it, and then roll out what you've learned onto different other platforms. So if most of your audience is on Facebook, then...
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.